The moment you step into leadership, doesn't matter what role that is, if anyone's reporting into you, you are no longer responsible for the success of that business. That's not your job anymore. Not even a little bit. You are now responsible for the people who are now responsible for the success of the business.
We're live. We made it.
We're live.
This is me for the whole show. Not going to move my head. Viewers, I'm real sorry about this one, but I commit to a bit
I'm not
really
sorry
hard.
about this at all. This is fantastic. This is great.
Also, I can't hear you the other guys, so it's going to be me just kind of talking over them like an asshole.
Step 1, get a motion tracking camera. Step 2, don't move your head.
Correct. You know that thing where like you can go to like a chicken and like grab it by the back of the neck and it's like, I'm done. I can't move. Kind of feel like that. Kind of feel like I can't move. Help.
I mean, yeah. It looks nice. It looked nice either way.
Thanks, man.
But it looks nice now.
It's kind of a lie. Hey, you want to see a bit of physical comedy? This podcast known for physical comedy. I over the holiday season got a few Christmas gifts. One of them was a Bluetooth speaker. Have I showed you my Bluetooth speaker yet?
You have not. Is it blue? Is it green? Yes, you did. The Bluetooth.
Oh my God.
That's right. I remember. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's so good.
For the listeners at home, I held up a normal speaker.
Yes.
Don't know why they were laughing. Don't know why that would be fun, but I guess you should maybe watch. Maybe do that. Think about that next time you're feeling content with yourself.
See, John has this slander against the listeners. So what he doesn't know is that as a listener, as an audio only, I can say whatever I want. And what John was holding was so scandalous, you don't even want to see it.
It's true.
You don't even want to.
I did the viewers a disservice today. I'm sorry. That shouldn't be speaker. Sounds shouldn't come out of that. I realize what I've done, and I feel shame.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll find a way past this. And if not, that's a really funny reason to end the show.
It is.
What happened to Zero Dot? Oh, there was like a prop comedy thing that was so bad they just quit forever. So yeah, that's that.
Hey, welcome back to the Zero Dot Podcast. I'm going to accompany my friends John and Daniel here. John and Daniel, it's been a week, hasn't it been?
It's been a motherfucker of a week.
Yeah, it has. Whoo, boy.
It's been a big old stupid ass week. If you're listening to this and your week's been good, savor that. Hold that dear to your heart.
Yes.
Love that.
And if
Treat
you
it
think
tender.
I'm going to be mad at you that you had a good week, no, I'm absolutely.
Hell no.
I'm so happy for you. You had a great week. You deserve to have a good week. Seriously.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just really on that note, like, here's my permission, you dear observer of this show. If anyone else is ever unhappy, you can still be happy. It's okay. You can feel for them. You can have empathy for them. Don't let your shine be invalidated by that, right? So the other day I was talking to somebody and I was talking about how like shit sucks. I have a fun shoulder. Maybe you've seen, if you're a viewer, you see me do this in the show. That's me like massaging the shoulder that's fucked up, right? I was talking about that the other day and someone was like, yeah. I was like, why you look sad? And they were like, well, I just wanted to tell you that I got really good sleep for the first time in a while. Like, you should fucking tell me that. Like, I'm so happy for you. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I'm sad, be sad with me. That's not how empathy works. I want you to be like, oh shit, sorry about your shoulder, dog. But like, no, I want to hear your good news. Your good news is my good news. High tide all boats, baby. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
So lean in, my friend.
The human brain has a stickiness quotient when it comes to compliments versus feedback. It's the same thing for good news and bad news. You hear some bad news? Give me like 5, 6, 7. Give me tons of good news. Help me balance the equation out. That's the best. It's awesome. Our brains love that. We respond to that so well. So in that vein, John, give me some good news.
You know, I'm going to do that. But first, I'm going to give you a compliment. That was a fun little seg. I kind of knew it was coming because of the structure of our show. But I don't know. I just rode the wave. Felt nice. That was fun. Yeah. I got good news. I saw something, which is the point of my good news. My news today is about vision and the importance thereof. So I have, fun John fact, I have better than perfect vision. My body is falling apart, but my peepers are doing super duper well. And it is a thing that I've been grateful for
2013,
forever.
gang. 2013.
Yeah. But here's the thing. My news today isn't about standard issue vision problems. Standard issue vision problems. That's kind of fun to say. But this is not fun to say. Trachoma. Trachoma is the world's leading cause of infectious blindness. And in the entire ass world, for the first time ever, it has fallen below 100 million cases per the WHO, aka the World Health Organization, but I read it that way every time. The disease typically spreads via fingers, flies, other things that carry the germs from an infected person. And it was at 1.5 billion people in 2002. That is the number of people at risk for developing it. There, clarified. It wasn't that many people had it, but it was that much of a thing.
People that are at risk. Okay.
Mhm.
And now it's
down
below.
to 97.1 million. That's a 94% decline. I don't care which branch of science or science you come from, a 94% change in something is fucking bananas.
That is
So-
amazing.
Yeah, the thing that's also cool is the thing that's changed it wasn't like Dr. I-Man who came out and like fought off all the diseases. It's just straight up nations spending time working on sanitation, antibiotic rollouts, and
The
just
basics.
like, yeah, it's just people being kind to people, just doing things. And it's just fucking cool to see. Before we bask in the glory, I need to tell you this story. That rhymed. I hate when that happens.
No, you don't. You love it. Shut up.
No, I hate it. Oh no, I hope it doesn't happen again shortly. No. So long ago, my dad was like, "Hey, John, you know what we're doing?" And I was like, "What are we doing?" He was like, "We're going to the Dominican Republic and we're going to work in a free clinic to help people." Because he's a pharmacist and I'm a young boy. So we went down there. I'm not a young boy anymore. Dear listener, if you thought that this light, childish, cherubic voice is a young boy, I'm a 38-year-old man. I am not a young boy anymore. I'm a young man. No, I'm not. I'm a regular man. But here's the deal. When we went there, they were like, "Your dad's in the pharmacy. What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I'm just a young boy. I don't know. Put me where'st thou wilt." And they said, "Don't use Old English. That's strange." And then they also said, "To the optometry with you." And they sent me off. And I worked under a very kind doctor. And we would have lines for people who came to get glasses that would be like hours long. It was tons and tons of people. Also, just a fun, interesting note, this happened in a prison that was no longer a prison. So the aesthetics of the office was very weird because it was like bars on the windows. Come fix your health.
What an interesting
But-
vibe.
It was. If you've other sidebar within two sidebars, if you've never been to the Dominican Republic, fucking go. It is the people there are insane. Like not like in a good way, like in a really wonderful way. There's this vibrant, like almost aggressive kindness down there. There are some economic challenges to be sure.
And just to be clear, you're talking about the DR and not
Yes.
Haiti, which is on the other side of it. Totally different
Nay,
situation.
This was the DR. Yeah, the Dominican Republic, the Republic Dominicano. My dad goes there very often to volunteer and consequently has a significant amount of Dominican Republic clothing. And he does not look like a Dominican at all. He looks like me with much less hair. So all that aside, I bring up this story because it's about vision. I worked in the optometry office and I love this. This is it's kind of like a mini good thing. The doctor told me, because people would come in, they would have somebody do the eye exam, get the measurements of what's wrong and what people could use. And then he told me there was a different prescription. So what would happen is the person would come over to me and I'd be like, "Well, what's your prescription?" And I would go get them glasses. And he told me there was one, and I forget what the code was. And I might be narking on kind doctors everywhere. And if I am, I'm so sorry. But he'd be like, "Oh yeah, for you, you're like a this by this, you're this by," and then whatever the number was, it wasn't a real prescription. And it meant this person just wants to have glasses, but their eyes are fine. So we had separate glasses with just glass panes that didn't do anything at all.
Wow.
That we would just give people. And at the
That's
time, I remember
awesome.
being like, "Why are you here if you don't need that?" And then I remember that like people, they're people and they just want to feel good. They want to feel like they
Yeah.
look good. They want to feel included. They want to participate. And I just like fucking shout outs to you, doctor, whoever you were. It was just a really cool gesture. I really liked that. So
Wow.
that's my story. And also Trachoma's going away. And that's a really giant fucking deal. We should go back to that for a second.
That is massive.
Yeah. I have a friend, a very dear friend, and she has migraines sometimes that like temporarily script her vision, and just the fear that she experiences during those times, knowing full well it will come back, is significant. So to imagine you have a bacterial disease and suddenly your vision is going away, like to begin to eradicate that, what a fucking cool thing, man. I am always happy to talk about when science is doing cool stuff that works, because it turns out it's pretty consistent. Takes team effort, but it works. People are good at doing things.
You love to see it. Carry on.
See,
Continue.
he used a classic phrase, and also it is relevant to the topic. So therefore, two things a play upon the very words themselves. Good show.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are listening only, let it be known that at Zero Dot, we are master punners of the greatest kind. And Daniel is the king of them all. So you have just heard and witnessed one of the greatest displays of that. And that will keep going on throughout the Zero Dot journey that we are on. So thank you, Daniel. Immaculate vibes. Immaculate. All right, John. Well, that's good. And you know what I love about your story is that there's always good things going on. There's always things that we're working on to make the world a better place. It's really easy when you're living in, doing this for the listeners, waving generally at everything in the world. And you're just basking in that to go, oh, everything's going to you know what. So it's always nice to be reminded, you know what? The hard work, the good work is still being done. You know what also happens, John? When all the bad stuff is happening, and there's a lot, especially if you're listening to this episode, when I think you're listening to this episode, especially here in the Americas, there's stuff happening that we should be paying attention to that we're not, because it's not populating our news cycle. So John and Daniel, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we should be keeping our eyes on as it relates to the United States, but this affects other countries as well, and that is hunger. Hunger. Did you know, John, that in the United States, we are the largest distributor of food and goods across the entire world?
Significantly, yeah.
So by that metric, everyone in the United States should be well fed, right?
I would believe yes, but the initial way we're going to this feels like perhaps the answer will not be.
Yeah, no. Right now in the United States, about 47 million people don't know where their next meal is coming from. That's nearly 1 in 7 Americans, including more than 13 million children. And this isn't just a few places, John. This is the scary part. Hunger is found. I'm going to make sure I repeat this for you. Hunger is found in every single county in the United States. There are 3,244 counties about in all of the United States. And every single one, there are people struggling with food insecurity, food issues, and hunger, especially child hunger. That's devastating. So the question is, why aren't we hearing more about this in the news? Because right now, as I said before, the national conversation is dominated by other headline catastrophes. Waves, hands, you're sure what that's all about. Meanwhile, hunger in America grows quietly without dramatic visuals, but with real consequences for real families here at home. But John, as I indicated to you before, the United States of America is one of the largest, if not the largest, food distributor in the world. So it's not an issue about food. There's plenty of food to go around. It's about the resources to spread that food places, and especially money. Families are struggling to juggle rent, childcare, prescriptions, utilities, and then trying to buy enough groceries for everyone to keep fed. That squeeze pushes millions deeper into hardship, especially now as we enter 2026, where I don't think it's controversial to say inflation has happened, ladies and gentlemen, and it's probably going to get a significant amount worse. So I think we need to care about this. And I think we need to put our eyes on this. And the good news is I have a way in which we can do just something really small that can make a significant amount of difference, because I think this is everyone's problem globally. People should not be starving. No matter where you are socioeconomically, people should have access to food. Whether it's whether you're child, whether you're senior. If you don't have food, it weakens your communities. It disrupts local economies. It disrupts long-term well-being. Heck, it disrupts your earlier story before about people just doing better, about being cleanlier and nicer and following protocols. If we don't have enough food, then guess what? That number that, John, you shared before, that's going to go up, not down. And we definitely want that to happen. So there's a lot of different places you can go to for this, but one that I'm going to recommend to you all, and they're not a sponsor, I'm just recommending them because they're just a good place to go to, is go to feedingamerica.org. And what I like about feedingamerica.org is that the money that you spend, so let's say it's $1 or your regionally equivalent, can provide at least up to 10 meals to someone who needs it. You can also find volunteer opportunities near you. You can go to feedingamerica.org to find where those volunteering opportunities are. Literally put in your zip code if you're in the U.S., and they will tell you exactly where you can volunteer. Or you can absolutely donate canned goods or preservative goods. But I'm going to say a note about this, John, because I'm very passionate about this. I just donated a lot of canned goods at a local rec center right before Christmas, and I'm glad I did it. The community needed it, etc. But I want to just make sure people are aware that canned goods is good, but what's better than canned goods is always money. We have this thing in America, especially, where we believe, well, if you're that desperate, you need money, I don't want to give you money. Instead, I want to just give you food. I want to buy the food for you. And that's fine and that's okay. But money is what goes further. What ends up happening in these places that do have enough food, because remember, food isn't the issue, it's money. They have enough food, you get the canned goods, those things still technically do expire. And we have so much food. Food is expiring at an alarming rate that once the food expires, they can't serve it to people anymore. So if you want to give these agencies like Feeding America resources to be able to do something about this and really tackle this on, just a couple of bucks their way goes a long way. And in fact, if I can reference an article that Vox.com said, they argued that $100 a year per household, meaning if you're a family of 4 and you want to donate a total of $100 a year to this effort, that would sizably make such a huge, magnificent effort that we could finally say that not every single county in the United States is suffering from food and hunger issues. So once again, I'm recommending feedingamerica.org. You can go there right now. Check a couple bucks if you feel like it. If not, that's totally fine. You can check out where you volunteer. If you do have canned goods lying around, that's also a perfectly serviceable option. They'll give you places where you can either serve food, volunteer food, pack food, send food, etc., and make sure that kids don't go hungry. And I say this with this in mind. As we deal with this in America, it's probably, we're in the year 2026, you know that a lot of federally funded programs are getting axed in terms of money. So really right now, money is the savior of the day. Things like SNAP and community school food access funding, that's all being cut right now by a lot of different jurisdictions. So the greatest thing we can do right now is really just throw a couple of dollars with whatever money you do have, or volunteer your time, which is massive, or volunteer your packed goods if you have some of that as well, if you have it lying around, and give back. Because personally speaking, I just truly believe with the way that we have things, with all the privileges we have in life, no one should be starving. And so I just want to point a highlight to that. I know it's something we hear about quite a lot, but I don't want us to forget about it because it's getting worse, not better, while other things are going on. John?
Hey, I'm really glad you brought it up. I'm going to click this button, and I just gave him $10. And
Nice.
I like that that's simple. I like when you have a reputable thing that you can just give to and trust. And I knew Feeding America before this, and that they're a good one. I also feel like, just to talk big picture, when things get hard, people don't get their basic needs met. When they don't get their basic needs met, they're going to find ways to get them met. Things kind of unscrew, you pull on the thread, the whole thing starts to unravel. This is a really kind way to help people feel safe. And it's also a way to help people feel like there's a team. One of the hardest parts of modern living is the notion that there's so many problems and there's nobody else on the fucking team. The team is big. There's a lot of us and we're on the same fucking team. And we are at a place where we could be in a post-scarcity world. We have the ability to feed every single person. I will save my comments on that system for another time, but not for long, in that it is not for the people. But if you can today throw a couple bucks at that thing, do it up. And if you can't, that's okay. But you're on the same team. And if you spread the word, if you tell the person, maybe they throw a few bucks, that's also great. That's okay. I want you to subscribe to our channel and our show, but today I'd rather you do that, if that helps. So
Absolutely. If you have the choice of giving $3.99 to our Patreon, which is a pretty good value, or giving a couple dollars to this, always pick this every single time. Always, if you can.
Absolutely.
There's a lot on this subject, John, so I appreciate that. But so Jen, to close out that subject, again, I'm very passionate about this. If you don't have the money, that's fine. But if you do have the money and you're trying to tell yourself, no, I'd rather give food canisters or prepackaged food because I feel better morally about that. No. If you have the money, that's always the better call. If you don't, prepackaged food is fine. And then, of course, volunteering is incredible. I'll always say that forever. Every organization I talk to that does this stuff, not just Feeding America, but others, they all say the same thing. Our food is expiring at such a fast rate that the packaged foods, it's fine, but that's not the problem we're trying to solve right now.
Yeah.
So, John.
Yes.
I know you know a little bit about what I do, which is assessment and leadership consulting. Also public speaking, also coaching, also all that kind of fun stuff. Most of what I do is I go around the country and I talk to people about leadership. We do all kinds of fun things, like I ask them questions and I get them to say the things that they've always believed but haven't allowed themselves to believe in. We play fun games with each other. I give them inspiring speeches sometimes, but mostly it's just one-on-one conversations with folks about leadership. And John, I am so happy to tell you that 85% of the time, people are happy to talk to me. They love the concept of leadership training. They want to know more. They know it's their moral responsibility to do better so that they can mold the next generation. About 15% of them sit in the back, arms crossed, and think one of two things. This whole thing's horseshit. I got better things to do. I can't believe I was told I had to sit in on this stupid talk. Ugh. Or this is one of my favorites. The guy or girl who's been a leader for 30, 35, maybe even 40 years, or they're nearing retirement. They sit sometimes in the front, sometimes in the back, doesn't matter where they sit, and they go, I already know everything. I'm the master. I'm the best. And, I love that. So I love a good challenge. And what ends up happening is we have an open dialogue. We challenge each other, and I learn from them and they learn from me. And what comes through the fold is it's the person that thinks they don't need to learn anything about leadership. What they don't understand is that what's missing from them is the way in which they're looking at leadership. People look at leadership like, I have title X, people report into me, I got to get things done. And what they don't understand is that's just all a masquerade. And that when you're leadership, when people report into you, it's a whole other ballgame. And sadly, no one tells you about this stuff. But once you understand it, once you reframe everything in this particular way, not only is your life easier, but you inspire more people. You have more efficacy, meaning you're more effective as a leader. And you go, gosh darn it, why didn't I do this sooner? And anyone can be a leader, not even with a title. All they have to do is reframe their lens of how they look at it. Now, I have a patented 12 lenses of leadership. I'm not going to go through all 12 with you right now, but I'd like to go through at least 2 of them with you. The first 2, the most important ones, and ask for your feedback, comments, and questions as we go along, because I find that once people accept these lenses, or at least start tackling these subjects in this particular way and start thinking of it this way, it completely transforms them, changes them, and makes them realize that, oh, this whole leadership thing, I could actually do it. Meaning our 0 Dot listeners right now, that's you. I'm pointing to you right now. If you adopt some of these, you can literally be a leader for your people, your community, your family, your friends, and everything else better than you were yesterday. You interested in that?
Hell yeah, man. I think that's amazing.
All right. Awesome. So I said to you before, there's 12 lenses. We'll only go through maybe 2 of them right now. There's the first one. The first lens, probably the most important lens. And it comes from this place. John, do you have people that report into you, or have you ever had a job where people have reported into you?
I did very briefly.
Yeah,
I did
how'd
not
that go?
care for it.
You didn't care for it? Why was that?
No, I felt overly responsible and unable to tend to the things that they had going on sufficiently, and sort of then a choice to either underserve them or spend all my time. It was
Gotcha.
It was rough.
You felt split. Okay.
Very much so.
Gotcha. How did you get that role? Did you apply for it? Did you promote for it? Was it voluntold to you?
Aged into it. The people
okay.
before me left the job, so it was like, someone's got to do it. You've been here the longest, go. And it was.
And there you go.
There's a
right.
principle about this, I recall.
Yeah. Okay. And you didn't get any leadership manual on this stuff, right? Like how to do it. It was just other guy or girl was doing it, so do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was almost a quote of, "Oh, it's not that hard. You just blank," and then blank was not a very thorough description.
That's often the case, isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
That's frustrating. We do this thing where we get really good at our current skill and we go, hey, you're good at that thing. Do something that is totally the opposite upwards and get paid a lot more for it, but no training. We do that a lot. And so I know this. We're all set up to fail in this capacity, whether you're voluntold to do it, whether you're in the room and people are asking for ideas and you kind of don't want to give your idea because you're not sure it's the right one, but then the guy next to you finally says something and that's the idea you go with. You're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to speak up anymore. But then 10 years from now, that guy's gone and you're the only one left. And how are you going to be able to rise up to that? We set ourselves up to fail. And so in that way, I like to offer you the very first lens of leadership, which is this. You get a job, brand new job. And it doesn't matter what job you have. Doesn't matter if it's a team lead, which, by the way, team lead is a very sneaky way organizations try to say, which is we want you to have responsibility over people, but still do the work you were originally doing and pay you a lot less money for it. Team lead is a recent new phenomenon that I absolutely can't stand, but a lot of companies do it. So if you're a team lead, you're a supervisor, meaning you supervise people, you literally oversee them, or you manage them, or you're a middle manager, or you're a C-suite, whatever it is. Once you have people that report into you, this following fundamental truth now comes into play. And the sooner you realize it, everything else falls into place. And it's this. John, before you are a leader, a manager, fancy title, you're in that job that someone told you, oh, don't worry, it's easy. All you got to do is blank. And you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Before that moment happened, you were, as an individual contributor, responsible for the success and the goals of your business, your organization, your nonprofit, whatever. You were the one doing it. So, I don't know if you experienced this, John, but a lot of people in smaller companies, they're in the trenches, they're doing the work, and the CEO might come by for a tour. And they shake people's hand, and they might say something like, John, thank you for all the work you do. You're responsible for our success. And gives you that trademark smile. And you think they're full of shit, but you're smiling anyway because you want that paycheck. Well, it turns out, even if HR told them to say that, or their lawyer told them to say that, or their PR person told them to say that, what they said was actually true. You were responsible for the company or the business or the organization's success at that point in time. The moment you step into leadership, doesn't matter what role that is, if anyone's reporting into you, you are no longer responsible for the success of that business. That's not your job anymore. Not even a little bit. You are now responsible for the people who are now responsible for the success of the business. So it doesn't fall on your shoulders. It's not on you. You're not, things don't have to, quote unquote, get done. Your people have to get the things done. So now everything is reframed from a place of, how can I help my people to make sure this can happen? What challenges can I take away from them to make sure they can make the magic happen? What can I absolve of them? What heat do I got to take on their plate and take the blame for while they get all the successes and make the magic happen? How can I make sure my people feel developed and supported and they feel good about the job? Now, I get feedback about this a lot. No, man, because my boss is barking at me. They want things from me. They need this report. They need this. They need that. They need that. Yeah, that's because they don't know what the heck you're supposed to do. All they know is they want good results to happen. And the way you get good results is focusing on your people. So it becomes this song of dance of kind of telling them kind of what they want to hear, but also focusing on what actually has to get done and then focusing on eliminating problems for your people. And this has so many different ripple effects. One is you no longer view your people with animosity. You no longer think that they're problem children. You go, oh, if I don't help solve this problem for this one employee that I have, then this thing can't get done. What do I have to do about it? You start viewing people with an assumption of innocence. Because, of course, everyone wants to do a good job. Everyone wants to do a good enough job. They get a paycheck. They get to walk away from that knowing that they did a good enough job. What can you do to help them with that, right? And in this particular capacity, it also makes your job significantly simpler. Because, again, I know that in my early days as a leader, I thought I had to take on the world. I had to be up at like 4 a.m. for every single call. I had to leave at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night till the office. I had to take on everything. When I'm like, well, you know what? No one shows up till 7. Maybe I'll get in maybe 15 minutes early just to make sure things are set up. And you know what? The last person leaves at 8 o'clock, but you know, if I trust that person at 8 o'clock, I can leave a little bit earlier before then to make sure they'd have my number and text me if there's anything to support. We know we're good to go there. I don't have to be so worried about this stuff. The first lens of, I am no longer responsible for the success of my business. It's my people who are, but I'm responsible for my people. That's the first way you have to start thinking about leadership. And fundamentally, most people I talk to who are the naysayers go, huh. Or sometimes they still are like, nope. I still got to do all by myself. And then we go down the rabbit hole. Says, okay, got it. You got a really tough business. It's really technical. I get it. What are your challenges right now? And you know what they start saying? Well, this employee sucks and that employee sucks. And I've got terrible employees here and my boss sucks. And these challenges come up and customers are never happy. And what ends up happening is they start blaming the world. It's the world's fault for everything. If only the world was perfect, then things would be fine. But that's not how this works.
No.
And I think you have something to say about that, don't you?
Well, I just, you and I have talked about this a little bit in the past, pieces of this anyway. And I have seen so clearly people try to lead by taking more and more and more control.
Yeah.
And I have yet to ever see that work. I have yet to ever see a situation like, okay, we fucking solved it. Outside of like a literal, hey, that's a fire, give me the fire extinguisher, you call 911. Like, if it is a systemic thing that will go on for more than 1 minute, this does not do anything.
No.
And it boggles the mind a little bit as to, and perhaps you will tell us, what is the drive there that makes people lock into this very ineffective method rather than pursue something else?
That's a great question. What is the drive there? And you know what? I wouldn't say it's drive, but it's something you know very well, which is fear. It's fear related to lack of education, lack of knowledge. It's fear from relating to my name is going to look bad. I'm going to look bad if this falls apart. And so it comes from a selfish place, not from a selfless place. And I would argue that if that's where that comes from, that's not leading for your people. That's leading for yourself. And we see what that looks like all the time. Again, to my listeners, I'm pointing about the world in chaos has lots of leaders in name and name only. I would not say they're leading for the people. We know a person that leads for the people when that happens. They care for their people. They ask questions. They stop and say, hey, how are you doing? And they go, yeah, I'm fine. And no, I didn't ask that. How are you really doing? Because I care about you. Because the most important thing to me is that you're feeling good. And yes, take the Machiavellian route, John. I do kind of only care that you feel good. So that way the job gets done. So that way I do look good. If you want to go down that weird proverbial rabbit hole, we can, but I still got to care how you're doing about this. The most important thing for me isn't if the business is successful or not. The business is going to succeed on a lot of different metrics beyond just like one guy, one girl. I'm not the one who's going to make everything happen. It's going to be a lot of different factors. And the only way to diagnose that and to make sure that it actually drives it is if you look at the systems in place and try to diagnose what's working and what's not. So that's the other element to it is you got to step out. Get out of the trenches. If your solution to everything is get involved and roll your sleeves up, well, guess what? The system isn't going to change unless that stops. Because the system knows every time that happens, you step in and fix the problems. Oh, that's our fail-safe is every time Sam just steps in and does the thing. Every time I need help, Sam steps the thing. I have a colleague, name is Shania. I'm trying to develop her, but she's not going to get developed if every time a problem comes up, I keep rolling up my sleeves and solving the problem. Meanwhile, she thinks that's her job, that every time a big problem comes up, alert Sam, and Sam just does it for me. I'm feeling good about that, I guess. You can't develop people that way. It's about your people. And the amount of times I talk to people, John, 85% of the time, they're like, yes, absolutely, that makes total sense. 100%, I'm with you, absolutely. About 15%, they're like, no, I got to get the things done. And again, the question is, okay, let's have that conversation. Maybe I'm wrong because I love being wrong because then we can have that awesome conversation. What are your challenges? And they go back to pointing fingers at everything because they start looking at everyone. And the implication is if the world was perfect, then of course my job would be perfect. And that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about this concept is anyone can view it this way. Anyone can view it like you're responsible for the people. You forget the last part. Success, the people focus on that, but you're responsible for the people. And that gets to my second lens, which is related to this because you asked a really good question about it. The second lens is about trust. You ever heard the phrase trust and verify? It's a common phrase people say quite a bit, right? Like, oh yeah, I'll trust you, but I'm going to verify what you do first.
Oh yeah.
Right, that kind of thing. Or people often say, I can't trust you until you've proven you're trustworthy to me.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that, John?
Well, I mean, off the cuff, it feels like it's a pretty skeptical thing. And there's a level of like, I don't know, it's fun to have a tense who knows who to trust during a murder mystery game. It's not fun at all to do during my fucking job. And it will, if you say that to me, my immediate automatic response as person who also works with you would be like, cool, I also feel the same. I do not trust you anymore. We're going to need to establish a groundwork because this is, so there's safety, like there's the fucking idea of safety, but this is going to slow a machine down that could otherwise not do that.
You're right, John. Yeah. And I think even if I don't tell you that I don't trust you until you prove yourself to me, you can tell. Human beings are really good at that.
For sure.
Human beings, we're not good at much, but one of the things brains are fucking fantastic at, John, is knowing the difference between someone's projected intent versus their actions. And if there's a disconnect, bam, something happens and we go into hyper protective mode, right? So if I just through whatever micro actions my leader does, get the impression my leader doesn't trust me, and we're really good at detecting that, that makes you feel like shit. Makes you feel like you don't want to operate. Makes you, as John said, I don't want to trust you anymore, but I kind of have to trust you because you're the one that gets me my pay and stuff. And it creates this weird power dynamic that's just awful for everyone involved. And oftentimes what people say is, well, it takes like 2 years to get good at this job, so I can't trust you until you prove your worth. Okay, let's pretend that's true. And maybe training's required. I'm not saying it's not. And maybe it's an extent, a lot of the jobs I work with, they're out in the field, they're out in manufacturing. It's a trade. It takes a long time. I'm not denying that. But hold on. 2 years before you can trust someone? That's a lot of wasted time, because the amount of time it takes to scrutinize and be skeptical for someone is a lot of emotional energy and physical energy and time, versus the opposite, which is I'm going to trust you right away. And then if you prove me wrong, then we'll recalibrate. That's a lot less energy and a lot less time. And then they always say, I can't trust someone right away. I can't. It's not possible. Can't do it. Can't trust someone. Why not? They got to prove themselves. And we have this lovely dialogue. We have this great conversation. And eventually we come down to the place of where I ask, so it sounds like you have a very complex web of systems in place to ensure a positive value that gives you permission to trust someone. And that complex web of values that you have is something you've made yourself, which, I'm not the psychologist in the room, but, I'm sure there's deep psychology there as to why that person felt that was necessary. I say, that's pretty impressive. You made all that. You know what that tells me? The choice of trust was always yours. And you're the one choosing to either trust someone or not, which is the second lens, John. Trust is a choice. People often say it's not. Oh, no, I can only trust if it organically happens. I can only trust if you've proven yourself to me. I can only trust if you've done the checklist for me. No, you can trust right away. Bam, done. Unless it's an immediate, like, life-threatening thing and you have reason to believe it's going to threaten your life, which 99% of your life, hopefully you're not experiencing that. In the workplace especially, you can trust immediately. You can trust immediately. And part of trust goes into being responsible for your people. I have to trust my people, otherwise things can't get done. And I have to be responsible for them. And in order for all the things to get done, I can't be Superman. I have to give them my trust. Now, the scary thing is, well, what if I trust them and things go wrong? Right? I'm sure you deal with this all the time, John. You have people that are, have a lot of anxiety. They have people on their team. They want to trust them, but they can't. Maybe they're underdeveloped. Maybe I would trust Jim, but every time Jim does this, he has this quirk where he takes up too much time and then we miss a deadline and it's a huge problem. Or I would trust Jessica, but every time we do this, they have all these reasons.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I could ask you then for some insight in terms of the psychology of intellectually knowing it's in our best interest to trust. It's in our best interest to allow for failure, give permission to fail, and then course correct from there. But we still protect ourselves and not do it. Even in the workplace of all places, we still do this.
Yeah.
What makes us do that?
Oh, great question. 2-part answer. The first part, which you will get very sick of if you listen to me talk, because it's kind of a big deal, turns out, is what you're raised around is what you believe the world is. So if you come from a home where people are like, hey man, shit's hard, but I'm here for you, but you can tell me stuff, like, you're much more willing to trust. There are people who meet teachers when they go to school for the first time and they're like, well, I can trust this person. And there's people who go there and are like, that is a predator. I need to watch myself.
Yeah.
So what you learn early is a big deal. And then the second one, I also talk about this all the time. It's optimism. Depending on where you, where you've been in life, you learn to have a pessimistic or optimistic look based on a fucking ton of factors. We've talked about this a little bit before. So that's an episode as well. But if you are a person who has learned that the world is a harsh place, not just from your parents, but from previous interactions. If I have a friend, I'm like, hey man, what's up? He's like, oh, I'm having a tough time. Can you spot me some money? I'm like, yeah, for sure. And then he like fucks me over. I'm like, cool, that didn't work. And the trust erodes. And it becomes, it starts to just feel like bad math.
Yeah.
It's like people are like, hey, we're doing a startup business. If you give us $10,000, you could be a millionaire. You're like, wow, that's fucking great. Here you go. Oh my God, they're gone. And that's super terrifying. But conversely, what I would offer you is when you do start by giving somebody trust, you don't start by saying, here's my social security number. This is a list of my top 10 fears. You say, cool, I will trust you with the competence to do this thing. And if you want to get real fancy, you can say, I will trust you with that you will be sincere and authentic in how you respond to me. And like Sam was saying earlier, we can sniff this shit out and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
When I've had employers who I've worked for trust me, like I'm immediately like I want to do right by them.
Mm-hmm.
And it is such a low risk thing to trust somebody with the things that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But it feels like this is the social security number one, the house key one. It feels like you're giving them everything.
Yeah.
So it comes from a place of I've been burned before. My resources are unsteady, and my general view is pessimistic. My general view is I am hunted. My general view is I'm not safe. And it's fucking hard to shake that because it kind of worms its way into who you are.
Yeah, you're right. Your parental factors, your environmental factors. Gosh, man, we are so molded by our early neuroplastic years. It is unfortunate to try to undo that, if at all. It is a possible, by the way, but it's a lot of work, and that's one of the unfortunate things. I think also when the trust factor comes in and says, "Hey, what if they do this? What if they do that? What if I trust them and it goes wrong?" You know, there's a fear of like they're going to hurt me, right? And what I like to ask the question is, you know, you have the power over what people can hurt you with or not. You decide that. I had a very good comrade of mine warn me against trusting one individual. And it was a very well-intended conversation. Like, hey, I'd watch out. I wouldn't know about X, Y, Z, that person, whatever. And I'm like, hold on. I've weighed the factors. This person can't hurt me. Even if what you say happens, which I don't think it's going to, that won't hurt me. That literally cannot hurt me. That's kind of what they will choose to do, and it won't mean a darn thing for me. And there's something about a leader who knows that. Like, you can't hurt me, but I have everything to give to you and to empower to you, and I want to trust you. Okay, this could go absolutely ape wall. We could have a real shit show on our hands. We'll be okay. Unless it kills someone. Again, there are certain sectors of the business, like in healthcare, you don't mess with some stuff. There's certain procedures, like this is about life or death. But a lot of other things, this won't hurt me. This won't affect me. You get to decide that. You having the fear that someone's going to hurt you has already presupposed that they will, and that's not fair to them. Because as we talked about, every person on this planet is a protagonist of their own story. They want to do good. And when you show trust, as John says, gosh, I want to do good for that person. They trusted in me. That's massive. I want to do right. And it's amazing what I've seen when you do that for people. It's amazing the amount of times at work I've been told, don't trust this one person. And I'm like, okay, cool. Do you have documented evidence to suggest why I should not trust this person? Of course they don't. Okay. I'm going to trust them. And I trust them. I have a great heart-to-heart conversation, and their face lights up. And it's like, they have been in a world for however long where people haven't trusted them for whatever reason, and it's baggage I don't know anything about, but seeing them light up and go, oh, finally I can live again, and they can shine more times than not. And the few times where I trust someone and it goes haywire, I don't regret it that much, because I've decided when I trust someone that the risk is so insignificant that, what's the worst thing? I'll feel bad. That'll sting. Okay, but I'm going to keep doing it because the gift is so much more worth the return than anything else, for sure. So when it comes to being responsible for your people, it has to be hand in hand with choosing to trust them almost immediately. You get into that brand new role, you got brand new people you've never met before, trust them. Why not? They've been in that role for a while. They've got the expertise. They know what they're doing. In fact, I'm going to do a case study with Prada. Prada has this policy, and I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but I think it's something like 60 days. You get a new promotion at Prada, for 60 days, you're not allowed to speak at any meeting. You're not allowed to speak, because this ties into like a third lens I have, but we'll just do a taster right now for it. They know that when you become a leader, you feel the need to prove yourself. And they're like, no, you don't need to prove yourself. If we've elected you to be this up and coming leader, we already know you have the skill set. We know it. You don't need to prove yourself. So we give you that 60-day buffer to listen, to absorb, to ask questions, if at all. And we don't want any of your dumb, stupid leadership insight until after that time, when that part of your brain has calmed down. It's one of the things I love. And that gives you more permission to ask questions of the people who've been in that position for a long time, learn from them, build a bond with them, trust them, and then you'll want to be more responsible for them than you ever have been. Now, I say about all this, John, and I'm talking a lot corporate job nonsense, but you can apply this to family life. You can apply this to community.
Totally.
Literally, you decide who you want to be responsible for. It doesn't have to be just your kin. It can be anyone. Like, I'm responsible for this person. I want to make sure this person's successful in whatever way is safe for you. I'm not saying that you should give someone $10,000 when that's all the money you have and put yourself in a lurch, but you have the ability to make those choices. And in that same choice, you have the ability to trust people. Of course, when they burn down that bridge on that personal level and they've broken a bridge too many, you also have the same exact choice to say, I'm not choosing trust anymore. But I think it's a premature thing to not choose trust right off the gate, because even if you decide to do the opposite, I'm going to not trust you until you prove you're trustworthy, that puts people in an impossible situation of angst that they might not ever be able to overcome. And you are spending so much energy and effort just to make someone go through a minefield to penetrate a part of your heart that you've always wanted them to in the first place. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I think a framework that I really like for this and many other paradigms is like, not like do it because it's right, do it because you believe in it, like you love it, and frankly, you're fucking brave. It is scary to trust people. It is fucking baby shit easy to be like, no, I'm gonna close off. Like anyone can fucking do that. It is a default setting. It is boring. It's lame. Conversely, if you can say, no, I'm going to swing for the fences. I want to have a life with a little bit of sauce and a little adventure. I want to feel. So much shit unlocks, and it takes courage. Turns out all the hard shit, all the good shit takes courage. And it's okay if you don't have that right now. Remember, you can only be brave when you're afraid. That is a context you have to have in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
But I know this is anecdotal, but like, let me tell you, like, in my line of work, when you go to meet a therapist, especially if it's your first therapist, it's about to be real fucking weird because there's a person there's like, hi, I'm a person you haven't met. Tell me all of your secrets. And not like, that's not what we say, but there's this level of like, this is so vulnerable. I don't know you. Can I trust this? And there's this apprehension, and people do it. And admittedly, a little easier in theory to trust a therapist because we are fucking very strict rules around it. We have to be trustworthy. And you can just see people feel so much safer when they're like, oh, okay, I invested some trust. It didn't blow up. And that's a model. That's a model. Therapy is a real relationship. It's an actual relationship. It's just made in a lab. So you can test it out in a safe place, try it elsewhere. I've had so many people get just a goal from me, like go do basic trust. Like I'm talking like go to a cafe, put down your fucking pen and say, hey man, can you watch this for 5 seconds? Because psychologically your brain, your amygdala is like, ugh, and then it goes, oh, okay. And you start to view other people just automatically as less hostile, as less dangerous. Yeah. And holy fuck, that is freeing.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, if anyone listening or watching, that's right, I'll play to both sides for right now, wants to try this. After listening to this episode, find someone in your life. Maybe you already trust them. That's an easy way to do it. Find someone that you think you trust, but maybe you're on the fence about. Really stretch yourself a little bit. Have a conversation with that person. And at some point, use the exact words, I trust you. Literally say those words, and you will be so surprised the reaction they have. It will literally change it. I almost love that better than I love you. Not really, because I love you has so many more things, but like saying I trust you is like, because people crave trusting relationships. People love building connections, John. The person that's in the corner that wants to be by themselves, that's, they don't talk to anyone, they want it more than anyone else. Literally just saying those words, I trust you, is huge. And there's this big myth that trust is only built organically over time and it just takes a while. No, you can speed that up real quick. And it starts with you making that choice.
2 things. 1, it is true that it's built organically over time, but that's dumb. In the same way that, grief heals organically over time, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't talk about your fucking sadness, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you can accelerate the way these things grow by approaching them and having that courage to bring it up. And if you're a depressed person, there's a chance you never talk to the therapist or anybody, you'll fucking get better in fucking 10 years. Trust me, I know because I did it. And it was a terrible, horrible way, and I don't recommend it to anybody. It is better to trust people, and I know that it's hard to go there. Secondly, I'm about to give a shout out to my favorite show in the world, which is Detroiters. Tim Robinson and Detroiters. If you ever watch, I think you should leave it. Like, this is too fucking grimy for me. Can't do it. Too awkward. Cool. Try Detroiters. Detroiters is a show. It's an absurdist comedy, but it's also very subtly a thing about male friendships. And they do things that are absurd, as I just mentioned. And there's one scene where one character is talking to his friend, and his friend's about to leave. He says, hey, friend turns around and he goes, I love you and I trust you. And it's like a little funny, cute thing. Yeah. But also, per the rules of humor, it's funny because you don't expect it, right? That's contrast with what's normal for us. But how fucked up is it that it's like weird for me to be like, I love you and I trust you to a person that in my life? Like that should be the default. That should be the fucking
Right?
default.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really actually very clever way of illustrating. Obviously it's funny, but it's a clever way of illustrating like this is weird that we don't get to be pals with our buds. We don't get to be like, no, I see you and I'm here for you and I trust you. And I would gas up the two guys I'm on this show with. I do love them both and I trust them both. And it's been really fucking good for me. There's a reason that I look forward to doing this show every week because it just feels good to be with people that I trust. And I would also tell you, like, when Sam approached us about doing this, it was very much like, here's the thing, man. And it wasn't like, are you in sales pitch? It was like, do you want to do this? Do you want to? And I know speaking for Daniel and myself, it was like, yes, I absolutely want to fucking do this. And I trust you. Last part wasn't said necessarily out loud, but that's why it works. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're on episode 11 instead of episode 1 or 2, because we've just been fucking chugging away because it's a thing that we do. And dear other thing, like psychologically, human brains need trust. At the end of the day, we're animals. And if you're an animal and you don't trust any other animals, picture a caged dog at like a shelter who doesn't trust the people who are there to take care of it. That's you. That's your fucking brain. That's what that feels like. You're scared all the time. Who's gonna hurt you? Is this food okay? Can you have this? Can you trust that person to come back? That's a terrible way to be. It's exhausting and terrifying. And then I'm gonna cry because my dog's over here and he's so cute. We got him from a shelter. I remember the day he came home. He like wouldn't like get on the couch. When he'd be like one little paw. I was like, please don't get mad at me. And now he's just like, he just trusts me. He knows the food's coming. He knows the pets are coming, and he's chill and he's happy. You deserve as good of a life as my dog. That's a very fair statement, whoever you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a universal right. Not even right. It's like food. You need it. You need it. And so I end this segment with what I often get to the most recalcitrant of people. It says, Sam, I didn't sign up to be big district manager of this big firm to be people's therapist. That's their therapist's job, not mine. And we laugh. So maybe not. And I don't wish to take therapists out of their job. I have a good friend who's a therapist. But maybe they'd spend less time with their therapist and more time with building relationships and cultivating things if everyone in their life, including their boss, gave just a little bit of a shit about them. Maybe. Because again, I know from a friend who's a therapist, he's trying to work himself out of a job and you're making that real hard for him. Because it's not therapy, it's just being human.
That's what I was gonna fucking say. Like, I don't want to end on your like beautifully poignant note, but like, I mean, I do want to end on that, but like, the idea of like, I don't want to be your therapist. That's fucking weird. That's like someone's like, hey man, can you pass me the fucking scissors? I'm like, I don't want to be your servant. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, if the purview of therapists is basic compassion, you are not a healthy person. Like, I have some really fancy therapist moves. I got a couple of cool things Joe doesn't know about and can't just whip out and do. And you know, yay for me. But like, basic kindness, like default levels of human trust, no sir, that's your job. And if you ever got away from that, it's because you forgot what was important. And I don't mean that in like a shame way. I mean that like biologically, this is how you have a community. This is how you thrive, and also how you get people to like you. Yeah. Don't gatekeep being a human behind fucking policy, you asshole. Sorry, that wasn't nice. Frustrating. Hi, it's Sean of the Zero Dot Podcast. So stoked that you've been hanging out with us and watching us. And if you haven't, here, I'm ambushing anyway, and I apologize. And I'm asking you to do me a favor. We'll put some links here that you can click on to send us something. There's all kinds of ways to do it. But I really feel like this show, and frankly, our fucking agenda is at its best when we're connecting. So please, if you have a question for Samurai about our experiences, areas of expertise, or anything else, let her rip, send it below, and we will talk soon, my friend. Take care. I'm going to steal a story from Simon Sinek, who is a motivational speaker as well. He's one of the good ones, by the way. What I do has a Venn diagram to self-help, and I'm very critical of self-help, but he's one of the good guys. And he tells the story about you always have a choice as a leader. You can make this choice when you talk to someone. You can have two types of conversations. One conversation is, hey, John, your numbers have been down 2 months in a row. If we don't shape this up by the end of the quarter, I can't say for certain what's going to happen. Or the other
conversation. Hey, John, your number's been down 2 months in a row. How are you doing? I'm worried about you. Is everything okay? And you might say, I'm really sorry about the numbers. No, fuck that. I'm noticing the behavior and I just want to know, this isn't like you. Come in, close the door. Let's talk. What's going on? And every person has that choice every day. And it doesn't matter what title is, doesn't matter how much money you're getting paid, you can make the choice. And I'm here to tell you from the social sciences, from the literature, from everything we see, one of those choices is far more beneficial to you, your team, and if you really care about your company's success, success to your company. I'll let you decide which one that is.
I see this all the time. I see this all the time where people will have good leaders or people who are good leaders invite you behind the curtain and they just are like, are you good? Are you okay? I was noticing that and it's not I have concerns about you. It's that I've been seeing that maybe you're struggling. People just they just open their shit up and then they improve almost immediately because the shit they were carrying by themselves can now be fixed. Humans are a team sport, man. You can't fucking do this shit alone. And if you think you can, well, A, you're a teenager. Good luck. You're about to hit your head really fucking hard. And B, you're a narcissistic sociopath. Or C, you've been hurt by a bunch of lies propagated by some stupid shit. So if you're C, which most of you will be, there's such a gentler, better world out there. You're already worthy of it. You're equipped for it. You belong in it. We want you over here. Let people have that room. I've been that guy, by the way. When I was doing my graduate internship, I was fucking drowning, man. Like I was working like 80 hours a week. I was commuting between 2 sites, both of which were pretty intense. I was working in a different town, like 45 minutes away than where I lived. I had been kicked out of the place I was living because the people who were living there were going through some shit. I was back with my parents, which was about as fun as love my parents, but like not the vibe at that age. It wasn't fun. And then my site supervisors from 2 different sites were in the same building. And I was like, that's probably not good. That's probably about me. And it was. And they were like, hey, man, come on down. And they were a little scary about it. But then they were like, are you okay? We don't know that you're qualified to do this if you can't do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, well, here's all my stuff. And they were like, oh, why didn't you tell us? And I was like, because I wanted you to think I was good. I walked into the fucking trap, man, as a therapist, right? So like, I was glad that they had that intervention effectively, but I feel like twofold. One, if you're the offerer of the intervention, do it sooner, do it compassionate, people will receive it.
Yeah,
they will. And if you're the one who's hurting, same thing, trust other side of the street being like, hey, person, I'm hurting. I would like very much to make this better. Here's what I'm going through. I want to let you know. Dear person who has done that very thing to a boss and that boss let you go because they're a fuckhead, I'm fucking sorry. But you shouldn't have worked there anyway. And not in a blame you way, in a way of you just dodged a much bigger and worse bullet later.
Absolutely.
And I know when that happens, because it's happened to me. You give somebody some really vulnerable shit and they use it against you or the floor falls out, right? Like, that teaches you a bunch of things. But the only thing it should teach you is this is a really great place to not be.
Right.
This is a person who needs no further investment.
It should not teach you the shame thing. There's nothing wrong with you. It should teach you that's not the place for you, which statistically 100%. Should make sense because there's 8 billion of us. Not every place is going to be for us, and that's fine. And it's all a game of finding the right place.
Absolutely. And what a difference it makes when you do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man.
Oh my gosh.
It's
so good.
Best. And you go, why the hell wasn't I here before? And you go, oh, right, because I was finding this place. It took me like forever. Jeez Louise.
Yep.
Right. Well, thanks for indulging me on the first 2 of the 12 lenses of leadership. These are things that I think that anyone can benefit from. So if you have an interest in just being there for your community, much less anything else, but if you want to look really impressive for the next job interview, that you've got the right mindset here, just starting with these first 2. We'll be going through all 12 at some point through Zero Dot. I thought we start for the first 2, so don't worry. We're going to get saucy with that. But I believe we have a user-submitted question that we need to address before we wrap things up. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Is that correct, my lovely compatriot Daniel?
Correct. Let me get my 2 lenses.
Oh.
We have
referential humor.
Only at Zero Dot. The viewers, just so you know, nothing funny or cool or punny just happened.
Nope, nothing at all.
I must keep my arms crossed and be in command at all times.
So, do you have any advice for people who are finding it hard to react to compliments and intimacy? So personally, I lost a lot of weight over the last few years and suddenly find myself in a relationship with someone who finds me attractive for the first time. Good for you. That's great stuff. And I'm getting random compliments from coworkers and strangers. And when I receive things like this, it's a really uncomfortable feeling. I'd be interested in hearing your take on this.
Wow. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you to the anonymous person that submitted this question. I know John has many thoughts while he scrambles to type up those thoughts. I will do the thing where I just want to say, before we address the question, I want to know that I feel you and I hear you, man. The first part of your question is, dealing with compliments in a space where you might not have received them before. And to you are the same person. Nothing has changed here, but you feel like maybe something has changed and people are treating you differently and you're not sure how to take that. I want you to know, man, you're not alone here. I don't want to say it's a common phenomenon, but it's things a lot of people face. And I hear you, and that has to be uncomfortable. And I'm sorry, because on your side of things, again, according to the question, lost a lot of weight. I'm assuming it was for good things. I'm assuming you did it for positive things. Good for you. Super fantastic. Now, what I love about the question is that you are so sensitive to the idea that, are we developing a trap of a feedback loop here that if I look a certain way, do a certain thing, do things, that's how people will validate me and see me more, when deep down that's not where your self-worth comes from? I'm hearing that conflict in the question as well. So I really appreciate this question because there's nuance here. And it's to the person that asked the question, I'm sorry. That's a very uncomfortable position. It's not fun, which is weird because when you feel this, and if you were to say this to anyone else, going back to our trust concept, they'd be like, what are you complaining about? You should be happy. You're getting compliments now. People are receiving you in a certain kind of way. You're attractive, but then before long, you might have them say something like, oh, you're more attractive now. Whoa, hold on. Why am I more attractive? And I'm sure that's where this question's coming from, this place of like, this feels wrong. This feels off. So I just want to validate that. And thank you for sharing the question. Before I dive any deeper into it, John has 1,000,001 thoughts.
I do have specifically 6, so I'll try to be efficient. The first one is, hey, person, yay for fucking you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're having some things that are going in a way that is leading to these positive things. If you're in a situation, you're getting positive feedback. It's pretty fucking cool. Hooray for you. I hate saying hooray for you because it sounds inherently sarcastic, but like genuinely, like, love that for you, man, or woman, or they, whoever you are. I'm a big fan.
Clap.
Thing number 2, I would talk about brains and how brains are fucking hilarious. Because when they aren't used to a thing, they're like, wait a minute, that shit's suspicious. There's a cute thing called driving sickness, where you'll be in a car and you look out the window and sure enough, the terrain is passing you right by. And then your body's like, I'm not moving though. Something's wrong. I'm poisoned. And that's why you get nauseous when you're driving. That's a real thing because your brain can't deal with conflicting information.
Right.
This is the same thing. Previously, you may have had negative input where people were like, you are bad. You do not look good. I hope that didn't happen, but it's possible. Most of us have received that. If you've been to junior high, somebody said that. But we've also received an absence of information. So if I am a fucking funny, sweet dude and no one has told me this and someone goes, man, you're a funny, sweet dude. I want to hear that so bad. That feels so nice. But I'm like, well, then why did nobody else tell me that? What are you doing? Is this like a thing? Are you do you want money? You can just say you want money. We can skip over all this fake shit because it feels insincere because it's new. And what you are doing, dear wonderful person, is you're building a new little neural pathway in your brain that lets you sit with this shit and feel it. I give a quick shout out to one of my clients. Loved this. Loved when she did this. Had a client the other day and I said something along the lines like, damn it, I love the way your brain works. The way you solve a puzzle so quickly in your head, come up with solutions, and can be so transparent, so amazing. And she said, thanks. Anyway, and then she interrupted herself and she went, no, I want to go back and sit with that for a second. I want to feel that. And she just sat there in silence for like 5-10 seconds and said, thank you genuinely. That felt really good. And I fucking popped off for her. I was so happy. That was such a fucking cool moment.
That is awesome.
But how fucking scary is that?
Yeah.
to be in the moment and be like, yeah, no, I'm choosing this good thing because now what if the person goes, psych, you suck? Or what if nobody says that for a while? Or what if, and for the record, what if almost always not a useful thought? What ifs typically not very useful. We can talk about the actual utilitarian nature of that another time. But what I think you want to do, per my opinion, is
And just
you
to be
want to
clear, for
develop.
legal reasons, John is not your therapist. I'm not your leadership consultant. This is just homies talking to homies and just giving general opinions. That's it. Moving on.
I am not your producer.
I'm not your therapist, but I'm your virtual pal, and that's pretty good, says I. But I am also your fellow human, and I do want to join with you in this and help you out with it. So, the modality that I recommend with this is we're teaching your brain to sit with a new thing and accept it. Right? There's a thing that I see all the time, and this is like one of my agendas. Is when I am working with dudes, I try to give dudes compliments. Because I feel like as a creature, the dude does not give or receive compliments outside of the context of a romantic relationship. And that's fucking dumb because compliments are awesome. And I'll be like, oh, dude, that's a sick sweater. Like, that's a fucking cool hat. That's a fun tie. Or like, that was fucking hilarious. And you'll see people be like, thanks. And what they're doing and what happens if my ploy goes correctly is with time, it just will stop activating the part of their brain. So what you can do to help that speed up, per the topic du jour, is invite it in and sit with it a little bit. So what we typically do is called shunting, where someone's like, you're good. And you're like, nope. Or you're like, thanks, but no, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I'm a Midwesterner. We do this really cute thing where you'll be like, hey man, I like your hoodie. I'll be like, thanks. Someone else got it for me. It's not my own idea. I should not get any credit for this. This is like a humility thing, but humility also is so frequently toxic.
Yeah.
And I have a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do, dear person, is find verbiage that allows you to acknowledge the compliment for more than 1 second. I'm talking like 3 seconds. But you can go, what I like to do is I like to move my body and I go like, wow, thank you. That felt really good. And just say it. You're just announcing that it felt good. Because they can be like, well, I tricked you. And you're like, well, that sucks. But at the same time, you aren't saying like, I'm buying into your schema. It's a super low investment. You go, thanks. I think I like to say too is like, wow, thanks. That made my day. Oh my God. I got a little Christmas card from one of my clients that was it was just like, you are a good therapist. You've made a difference in my life. And I took a second. I was like, wow, that is really nice. That really made my day. Thank you so much. And I think they were more uncomfortable than I was but like, this is a high tide raises all boats thing, because the person who gives you the compliment, they want you to feel good. And if you show them that you do, they'll feel good. It's like, it's a beautiful cyclical. We're supposed to do it. Humans are supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So don't shunt it. Find a way to sit with it. The verbiages that I like I said before, are, thank you so much. That makes my day. That feels really good. Feel free to create your own. And then also, small doses is best. So you don't have to be like and on, thank you so much, really self-effacing, but just take the time. And if you want, you can do a little bonus, little follow up. I mean, next time you see that person, you'll be like, the other day when you said that, by the way, that made my fucking day. Thank you so much. And you're teaching your brain it's okay to acknowledge this. And you're also teaching their brain like what a fucking lovely impact they made. I have a bonus thing here. It comes, it's really fast. Sam mentioned self-worth and attractiveness. And this is a big thing. This is especially a thing for my women homies, which is people will be like, damn, you're fucking hot. And then it's like, cool, thanks. Am I just hot? Is that kind of what I am to you? And it's not exclusive to women, but they get a little more of this. And A of all, no, it's not. You're better than that. You're more than that. But you always want to have a couple of pillars of what self-worth is. And I want you, dear person, to go and enrich those things. So if you have one that like is newly budding for attractiveness, hey, fucking cool, water that shit, enjoy it, have a great time. But I think finding other ways to trust that there are good things about you. And I also would talk about, there's a whole second thing, but like not seeking compliments, but seeking validation of those pillars. So someone gave me this recently. Look at that. It's little raccoons eating trash, laughing. I love it so very much. And I told that person, you're a really good gift giver. That was really cool. Thank you so much. And I also told that person a bunch of other nice things, but I'm a therapist. And I did so intentionally to be like, you're not just a gift giver. I know that might sound a little silly, right? But like, this is the thing you can do to water other people's self-esteem too, is you can compliment other parts of them. If you are also, okay, bonus fucking fourth thing, if you are struggling to receive compliments, start giving them more. Because it will help your brain swim in those waters and get used to that ecosystem. And you'll be like, okay, so is it burdening me hella bad to like fucking compliment people? No, it won't be.
Mhm.
And if it is, don't compliment those people anymore because you were talking about people. Okay, I've been ranting a lot. I'm just very excited for you, person. I'm fucking
Yeah.
pumped for you. Thanks for writing in, and congrats on the changes. I hope they're serving you well.
Yeah. I have a couple things to add on John. What John said was absolutely fantastic. You know, receiving the compliment and giving yourself a beat to absorb it is really important, especially as a fellow shunter. I used to shunt everything. It took a lot of, it's still hard for me, but when I get a compliment, I go, thank you. That means a lot. And half of what I'm doing is just saying the words very slowly to allow the words that you just said to really sit with me. So that way I don't force myself to run away from it. That's the one side. But I want to speak to the side of this question that is, again, it was implied, it wasn't quite said, but it's like, is this person thinking of me differently now? Am I different? And I want to give you some permission here. I'm assuming the weight loss was a choice. Let's say that's what it was. You decided to lose the weight and you're proud of that, and it was an accomplishment. First of all, congrats. That's fantastic. When you made that choice, you also made a choice to actually become a different person. You didn't make a choice just to do a thing. You made a choice. I want to be the kind of person that does the things, whatever that is, nutrition, health, etc., that has this. And so you did this. You forged that path. And so when you get compliments from people and they seem sudden and it seems strange to you, what you're picking up on is people going, oh, you're different now. And that's unsettling. But I want you to lean into that just a little bit and go, I have changed into the person that people are noticing now. Because what happens is people had an avatar for you. And it could have been wrong, could have been right, who knows? And now it's shifted. And just recognizing that people are noticing the change is magnificent and massive. And lean into that and just realize what else other comments they have about you. Especially if it's innate, like you're pretty, you're hot, whatever. Throw that stuff in the garbage. That's more indicative of their perception of you. What's important is that what you know about yourself, which is you've become a different person. You've done that through actions. And John was saying before, really great compliments really focus in on behaviors and actions, not attributes, not innate things. And so if someone is trying to give you a compliment and they're not quite sure how to do that, don't begrudge them. Don't be upset at them. They're trying, and lean into it. Give them the grace as much as you can. But if they really are struggling in that capacity, it's not about you, it's about them. But again, accept the fact that you have become a different person because you executed a plan and you're doing it, and you should be very proud. So even at the very least, if it's uncomfortable, which I'm with you, I'm also uncomfortable with compliments, take it as a notch like, yeah, I'm doing something. And that's pretty worthwhile.
Very well said. Little bonus thought. When you make a change, people will notice it long after you've made the change.
Oh yeah, you made the change ages ago.
Yeah. I was at a job once. I was working. That's what you do at my job. And I was doing a group, and a dude, just like a dude in my group, was like, damn, Merrick, you've been lifting? You're popping out of that shirt. And I was like, ah! Like, it felt so good. But I'd been lifting for 3 years. Like, I don't know why he didn't see that a fucking month ago.
Right.
But the point being, like, they don't correlate with your progress. They don't correlate with your value. Mm-hmm. They're just nice little refuel stops along the road. And as you learn to give them and receive them, your brain's going to get gentler. And it is a trust-based thing, right? It's what a fucking appropriate, well done. What an appropriate question for the day. Because you are trusting the ecosystem you're in. You're trusting yourself, frankly, that you are worthy of compliments, which is a whole fucking other thing. Hey, Evolve, you are, just so you know. No matter what, you just are. And I can testify that more later. But like letting that be it, knowing a thing and feeling a thing are different. Had a fucking client this week, hit it out of that goddamn park with this one. He said, I know what I'm doing is right, but it feels so fucking wrong. I don't want to fucking know. I want to feel right. Poignant, smart. Feeling right is an adaptation, and it takes time. There is no, and now I feel better about it. Like that, if that was a thing, please teach me your ways, because you're the best therapist on the fucking planet. Also, you're probably like some sort of magician and or wizard, and that's not probably ethical, so stop doing that. But that's my side point.
So I'm with you. I'm sorry it's uncomfortable, but I'm also really, really happy for the good vibes coming your way. Really happy that you're feeling good about yourself. And I'm glad people are noticing that about you.
Well, that was the show. You can tell because there was a sudden jarring cut to me saying that was the show, and now it's concluded. We hope you had fun. We hope you learned something. We hope you felt something. We hope something happened. We hope that you were moved in some way. If you sat there motionless for the entire thing, felt nothing, did nothing, and don't care, also indicate that, and I will send a wellness check on you. We do hope you reach out one way or the other, and you watch again soon, and we hear from you. And goodbye. I'll miss you.